Good morning and welcome to the Trade Setup with me, Niraj Shah. It's a long list of stocks that will react today. It's also an important day because there's this US inflation data, there's a SEBI board meet, so lots happening, and it's the expiry as well. But let's take stock of the global news flow first and what the global markets have done. So Dow has finished higher for the 6th time in 7 sessions, which is maybe a good sign. Treasury yields, though, have ended the highest level in over a week ahead of the inflation data that I'm talking about. And this becomes a weekly affair, either a meeting or a Fed official comment or inflation data or consumer data. All of that impacts these yields, very frankly. The economic growth momentum will reach about 7.5% in FY25 as per NCAER. I don't think too many people are complaining with regards to that. So the global news flow is okay. Asian markets, in fact, there's a SEBI board meet today, and I think tighter regulation of selection of F&O stocks is on cards by virtue of all that's happening on derivatives. And one wonders what will eventually come out, what will get passed, what will see a pushback. So important meeting, but may not be a done deal. Could it move the markets tomorrow? Remains to be seen. Okay, what did the US markets do? Precious little, but Dow marginally in the green. The futures currently trading about 0.25% in the red. Asia skittish today across the board. It's not just the Chinese markets and the Japanese markets. Across the board, we have a bit of a pullback today. The implied open should be suggesting a start in the red. The question is, will we sulk further or will we build on from the momentum that we've had over the last couple of sessions and then move higher? Remains to be seen. And therefore, the trade setup, to my mind at least, there is a strong move that is persisting on indices, and it's very difficult to call the top because every single point of time people have tried to call the top. The market is only inched up higher, as was the case in point yesterday. Mid caps and small caps are not participating, but large caps are. Banks are participating. That's the other key thing. There is a very strong put writing that we saw yesterday at the 52,900 strike as well, which added about 67.98 lakh contracts. And in some sense, it becomes a key pivot from a support perspective as well for the markets. So that's one thing to monitor from a numbers perspective. The other thing is, like I said, right, when I talk to large investors, HNI investors, insti investors, not necessarily just mutual funds, by the way, they are buying blocks, but if they have the choice, they are staying lighter on their trading positions. So I think that is something to definitely keep in mind. You will see flows, you will see large institutional investors, prominent names buying into stocks in block deals, but that's a bottom-up stock picking strategy. On trading portfolios, they are now, in the last 2 or 3 sessions, staying a bit light. While FIs are continuing their long positioning, smart Indian HNI investors are currently light on their trading portfolios. Bear that in mind. And lastly, from among sectors, I think telecom stood out yesterday, has seen momentum with upsides looking intact. So therefore, keep a keen eye out for this as well. Yesterday, we had Bharti, Vodafone, Indus, Reliance, all of them moving. Let's see if there is more in store. But like I said, it's a day full of news flow. So let's get all the stocks going. Arcane Chemicals is the first one on my list. Block deal likely today at over a 10% discount as per media reports. So very likely that this stock could see a bit of a pullback. Piramal went up in trade yesterday, and one of Piramal entities is selling some stake here. So watch out for that one in the session today on the back of this deal. Okay, CSB Bank block deal as well likely. FIH Investment will sell about 9.72% stake. The discount is very narrow. It's happening in a block window, remember that. And therefore, the deal will be done pre-market hours per se. The point being, if it gets absorbed well, which looks likely because the discount is just 1%. So they've gauged the book and therefore not given any kind of discount. There could be a bit of a spurt in CSB Bank today after this deal is over. It's a large block out of the way. Sona is the third one on my list. It's gotten a certification for traction motor for electric two-wheelers under the PLI auto scheme. This is, I believe, the second one that they have gotten, and very likely that this is positive for the stock. Even on a dull day, may react positively. Let's wait and watch. Whirlpool India could be in focus because Reuters story says that Bosch is weighing an offer for Whirlpool Global, which is the parent of Whirlpool India. Now, will that mean that Whirlpool India too might get excited? It could. I'm just laying it out here. I'm not saying whether this is good or bad. Likely that stuff like this, if indeed an offer happens, etc., and stuff like that, is usually perceived to be good, but need not necessarily be the case. But I'm laying it out here in case Whirlpool reacts. Navin Fluorine is the other one. It's going to consider a fundraise in the board meeting on June 29th. So watch out for this one in the session today as well. Indus Tower will be included in the Nifty Momentum 50 index from today. It doesn't need to be included. It's got a really good momentum, but watch out for this one in trade today as well. KEC International has received new T&D orders worth 1,025 crores. Some more momentum. Remember, in an interview about 10-15 days back, KEC International MD Vimal Kejriwal had said that in his 22 years of being in this business, he's not seen such kind of business momentum. So must be something for him to say that, and they're certainly bagging the orders. So do watch out for this one as well. PI Industries has announced acquisition of Plant Healthcare for 32.78 million pounds, I think about 350 odd crores. The acquisition is about 3.8 times sales, will be completed in around 3 months. Jefferies believes it's an important acquisition. They go on to say that they were buy rating with the target price of 4750, which is about 25% upside, because they say it's a small acquisition, but it's promising biologics acquisition done at very attractive valuations, and they would give access. This would give access to PI to product portfolio for major crops. So this is something that you might want to watch out for in the session today, PI Industries. Speaking of acquisitions, is it Dr. Reddy's that we have next? Yes, indeed. It's going to acquire Nicotinell and related portfolios at 2.3 times revenues. Now, IIFL views the deal as an inefficient use of capital, and some other brokerages, maybe Jefferies again. I think they have an underperform rating with the target price of 5,010 on Dr. Reddy's. And remember, this is not because of this acquisition, of course. But they are saying that the impact of synergies of the acquisition will be only seen from FY27 and 28. And they believe the deal margin is accretive. Company is confident of consolidated EBITDA margin of 25%. So all of that could augur well. Now let's see. Pharma stocks are under a bit of a cloud because of all the US pricing pressure news. And until the Q1 numbers come out, there won't be clarity thereof. But let's wait and watch. Dr. Reddy is active today. Tata Motors, the MD Shailesh Chandra has said that they are actively looking at taking electric cars global. This is big because hitherto we're talking about the global cars coming into India, Jaguar, Land Rover. Now Tata Motors is saying they'll take the domestic Indian cars global as well. There is activity now. M&M, Tata Motors, Maruti, the Troika along with Hyundai listing. I think it's going to be a very exciting next 6 months for the four-wheeler companies in India. Watch out for Tata Motors today. This could be big. Titagarh Rail was up 9% yesterday. One was wondering why. Now, one of the reasons could be this, that while Rashmi Chaudhary has sold, which is fine, the buyers, BlackRock Global Funds, bought about 21.73 lakh shares. And there's one more buyer, BNP Paribas Financial Markets. So these are smart FIs coming in to this. When Capital bought into Titagarh at 500,000, people were scoffing, bahut mehenga liya. Capital has seen the stock move up 70% from its latest acquisition. That's quite something, really. So watch out for Titagarh Rail in the session today. Also watch out for Newland Labs in the session today. Small cap world fund bought about 1.3 lakh shares at 7,400. But the important thing is Sumit Nagar of Malabar India has sold. They are very smart investors, very entrenched in the chemical space. Let's see if Newland reacts a bit negatively to this today. We'll wait and watch. And lastly, Interglobe Aviation, as per Citi Research note, they hosted the company, and the company said that the demand environment remains healthy. They say that the passenger growth is constrained only by industry-wide capacity. Otherwise, it's all fine. The yields are steady, though trends are impacted by a high base effect, and therefore you might see some bit of an issue there. But they maintain the guidance of early double-digit growth in FY25E on key metrics. Watch out for Indigo today. Let's see if it reacts to this Citi note. And there are a clutch of other notes, of course, but these are the most important ones to my mind. Thanks so much for tuning in.